Welcome to Senior Moments, the show where we talk about all things senior, the good, the bad, and the utterly ridiculous. Today I have with me Marta Johnson. She has 50 years of experience in nursing as well as a plethora of other things, which I'm going to let you tell us about. So please introduce yourself.
Okay, well, it's an honor to be here speaking to my fellow seniors. I started in nursing in traditional roles in pediatrics and ICU and emergency room. I worked in every area of nursing you could name. And at the same time, I was pursuing a holistic health education because my nursing school provided some, but back then they didn't really promote whole health. They just talked about disease care and taking care of the person for their potential health problems. That was basic nursing. So in studying holism, I recognized that it's through the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual practices, that's where real health comes from. So I pursue wellness now.
Okay.
And in my studies, I became a board-certified holistic nurse and a integrative health and wellness nurse coach. So through my studies with acupressure and alternative healing modalities, I incorporated that. So it's called an integrative practice.
That's amazing.
Yes, and I'm semi-retired now. I'm a senior.
Okay.
And I'm doing the things that I've always wanted to pursue. But I'm always engaged in talking with people about wellness. That's my purpose.
Okay. So when you're pursuing the things that you want to, your passions these days, how do you fit them in with your wellness plan?
Well, you know, I consider myself a healthy person, and health includes the absence of disease and normal body functions. That's pretty much what we think of when we speak about health.
Okay.
Well-being and wellness is inclusive in that, but it's also through the practice of gratitude for every day's gifts and challenges. My mother used to say, count your blessings, so that's where gratitude comes in for me.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the aspects of wellness and wholeness. I also find that viewing our challenges and setbacks in life are opportunities for learning how to thrive even in the adverse circumstances. In the Chinese symbol for crisis is danger and opportunity.
I'll be darned.
And that it's a common symbol that's seen, but I like to think about anything that comes my way. It's dangerous, but it's also an opportunity for learning. And that's kind of what I think we're here for, is to learn. I also think about self-care a lot, and I have learned how to practice that through my life. It entails engaging in activities that prioritize maintaining and improving our health and well-being. And the focus for me and for those that I have worked with, even in my traditional practice, is physical activity, eating whole foods, adequate sleep, and preventative medical care. Managing stress through breathing awareness and relaxation practices. I'm a yoga practitioner, so I include yoga, meditation, prayer, music, and connecting with the natural world. That's a big part for me also, through being close to nature, whatever that entails for the person. It might be gardening, it might be hiking, it might be both. And another aspect of self-care is engaging with the family, friends, and the community and service organizations. That expands your idea of how you can be better in life.
Sure.
And that way you're engaged with other people, being well. And then also I think about finding our joy in life. And that is the things that support joy and fulfillment. I'm a journaler and I read, but art and poetry, sports, singing, and movement. I think you can never exclude movement. And many people think that that means hard exercise. But I do believe that it's any kind of movement that makes you feel good. It could be dancing, it could be just stretching. Some of the benefits that I've found for myself and for the people that I work with, what they tell me and what I've experienced is that the people have a deepened sense of wholeness and meaning in their life when they pursue well-being, because they're always looking to learn new things. It also helps people to reduce their anxiety because they have a focus. And stress also is such a common thing. We need stress in our life in order to get up in the morning. It's a positive stress. Learning is a positive stress. But the overload of media, overload of watching too much news, seeing we know that there are bad things in this world. We know that there are challenges in this world. And it's our opportunity when we're pursuing wellness to step back and take a look at what's really important. And my husband always says, put on your own oxygen before you help someone else.
There you go.
And that standard, I was just in an airplane and they said that, and I just have to laugh because that is the essence of self-care. To charge your own batteries first before you reach out. It's not, you don't have to be exclusive or not, call into a hole to get that.
Right.
You can continually connect with people, but it's the idea that you are feeling connected to people, but you're also taking care of yourself.
Right.
So that's pretty much what I do.
That is a whole lot, let me tell you. That is one of the things I've been working on over the last few years as I've gotten older is trying to incorporate things into my life that will make my whole life be connected, spiritually, physically, emotionally, but not, I have a tendency to do something. I'm gonna lift 50 pounds or whatever. I have an exercise routine. So then all of a sudden this exercise routine will take over my life. And what I try to keep things in balance. I'm really working on balance in my life. That yes, I need the physical stuff, I need the emotional, I need this, I need that, but not to focus on one area to the exclusion of everything else, which I have a tendency to do. Oh, I'm working on this project. I can't do anything till I get this project done. Well, cripes, that could be a month later, and I'm going, oh, God, maybe I should do the dishes.
Well, there are those things that just are the basics that we have to take care of. But I can see I think that's a common human trait. We are human beings and not human doings, and that's something I remind myself of often, is that anything we do makes us more whole, of course, that pursues our health, but to just be able to just be and to look at what's out there to be done, but to set priorities.
Right.
And that's where the balance comes in. And the people that I have seen have struggled with that balance, that they either have an obsessive dream or they're worried about something constantly. And I just say, well, sit with yourself and find ways that you can carve out a place that's just you being. You can sit in your garden, you can sit out on the deck, you can take a walk, but it's that time that you are just being and feeling your breath. I have some exercises that we can even start today, that our viewers could start today to create what I call a wellness toolbox so that you have it right there whenever you need it, when things get overwhelming. Not to say that you don't want to be active, but to allow that time just for you. So may I talk about some of the exercises that people can start today?
Yes,
so if you want to
absolutely.
start being well today, this is something you can start with. First of all, becoming aware of your breathing. Breath awareness is more powerful than we even imagine. There are many types of breath awareness, yogic breathing and relaxation breathing. But the main thing is to bring in the oxygen and hold it for a moment and then just make the exhale longer than the inhale. That allows your body to find a place of relaxation. It's kind of like the heartbeat. There's a resting phase and there's an active phase.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, there's the ba-bump,
Oh,
ba-bump,
okay.
ba-bump. Well, that ba-bump is the resting phase, and then the bump.
All
Anyway,
right.
it shows us how to be balanced, actually,
Right.
the heartbeat. That's
Yeah.
why when people have heart irregularities, the physicians become quite concerned because you want that flow to happen.
Sure.
So simple breathing awareness is very important, and just sitting and just taking a few deep breaths and blowing them out slowly, making the exhale longer than the inhale. And some people say that it's better to breathe through your mouth or through your nose, whatever is most comfortable for you. I choose to breathe out through my nose because that's where the air is purified again, or you're releasing more.
Okay.
So that's one thing that people can start right now whilst they're sitting watching this. And then gentle stretching and movement. As I said, activity is very important. I do think we're very hard on ourselves. Like you said, lifting 50 pounds, even just starting with some simple stretches, arm circles, shoulder rolls. That's something that I do before I start my yoga practice, is the shoulder rolls. Just doing 4 or 5 in one direction and 4 or 5 in another direction. And if you have issues with shoulders, which many people do in these times because we hold a lot of our tension and pressure in our neck and shoulders, is to do it to the point of comfort and not to do it to create pain.
Right.
And that's so important with movement. Just simple stretches of putting your arm over your head and reaching and just staying there for a moment. That opens up what we call the side heart in
Okay.
yoga, but it's also helps your lungs to expand. So doing that on both sides. Standing there and just doing some simple hip rolls, as in Middle Eastern dance, you don't have to be as elaborate as that, but just allowing your hips to rotate and putting your hands on your hips so that you can see where you're moving. Those are really such simple exercises, but they invigorate you and get your circulation going. Even before people get out of bed, there's so much on the internet now about how to start exercising. So if you can't get up and say, I'm going to exercise, just start doing those things in bed, putting the feet up into the air, if you can do it, and holding them with the backs of your hands on the backs
Sure.
of your knees. And just letting that, because that helps the circulation return to the heart. And that strengthens your cardiovascular condition.
Yes.
But anything you do with your extremities, just keeping them moving, that's why I like to dance, because it's so easy, and I know it's exercise, and you can just be standing there waving your arms around, but you're still getting some movement. And I really advocate for that, at the very least once a week, but if you can do it 2 or 3 times a day, or 2 or 3 times a week, and build up to daily. Again, we're so hard on ourselves, we human beings. And we'd have to be gentle with ourselves. And building up is a really good way to go. I also advocate humming and singing. If you're not a singer, if you can't carry a tune, it doesn't matter. You probably got a favorite song. And I have 2 friends that they're always humming. And I think, why? Well, one lives by herself and she's older. And she says, I just find it very soothing. And then another family member does that also. So I think that it's a really great way to go, even if you're not a singer. Humming and sound making, even just, I don't know, meowing along with your cat, or, that they're talking to you, your animals are talking to you, and repeating what they say back. And sometimes you get surprising answers. But using your voice instead of just talking, to use it to stimulate a feeling of well-being,
Sure.
whatever that means for you. I find that it increases internal balance because it's coming from within you, and it's using your lungs and your breath
Sure, that makes
and your
sense.
vocal cords. I also highly advocate using an image to help with your calming yourself. Imagery has been used for many, many decades in nursing to help people visualize a calming experience or a calming place. Some people actually light a candle and look at that, but also just envisioning a candle or envisioning your favorite flower. That, to me, anything that has beauty and that stimulates that sense of calm and wellness, just doing that, choosing an image that helps you feel calm. And then whenever something stressful comes up, to bring that into your awareness. Along with the breathing, you can incorporate these things together.
And you can do those at work.
Yes, you can, and I did them at work. And that was how I maintained my stress management when I could.
Sure.
The last thing that I like to talk about is setting goals. When I was doing more actively engaged in the integrative health and wellness coaching, that's one of the first things that we start by doing is thinking about what is your goal. And then we immediately say, oh, I'm going to lose 50 pounds by next month or something, or I'm going to only eat, no more sugar, whatever.
Right.
Setting those goals is really great, and it's also helpful to start with the most tiny goal you can manage. Because when clients would come back, they'd say, well, that goal just didn't work for me. I just didn't get to do it. I said, well, let's take a step back and make a smaller goal. And so that smaller goal might be, I'm going to drink an extra glass of water today.
Okay.
Or I'm going to get up a half an hour earlier so that I can water when it's so hot.
Oh, really?
Those kinds of things that are really common sense things. But setting little goals that you can meet so that you don't get frustrated and not meet them at all. So those 5 things are really a good way to start in your wellness journey. I didn't include food because that's a whole huge topic, but eating as whole foods as you can. And if people have limited incomes, there are farm stands now at this time of year. I know that the high school has the...
they have an amazing bunch of vegetables that they sell every week, and the prices, you can afford to go there and get good food at low prices.
Yes.
And it's good for the students, it's good for you, and I just love going to, I go to Calaveras High School on Thursdays to get
it's wonderful, and it's affordable, and that's the key. I think a lot of people go to the grocery store and they see all these fancy organic products. Well, they're also processed foods, so if you just go to the basics, if you can get organic food, that's great. But if it's fresh, that's the most important thing, as fresh as you can get it. I used to not eat corn because as a child we ate corn all the time, and I thought, oh, corn, that's so fattening. But now we'll fix maybe 2 ears of corn or 1 ear of corn and break it up. But I've satisfied my desire for corn.
Right.
But it's not a huge amount. And so it's also volume control. But that's something that is a whole separate topic. But I think for me, in terms of the wellness journey and starting your wellness journey, is just look at your cupboard and find how many foods you eat that are processed, and read the ingredients. And then find things that aren't so highly processed. Basic pasta is, if it's a good pasta, you're going to get some nutrition from that.
Sure.
It's fortified. And also then fresh fruits and vegetables. I can't stress that enough. And a good source of meat, it is difficult. We have a butcher in San Andreas, so that's really helpful at treats. And you can get special cuts if you want, and the Angels Market. And I think the Save Mart also does that as well. And there's probably lots of others that I don't know. But finding if you do eat red meat or pork, just make sure that you get a good quality of it. And that, because we have local people, that's possible. And you don't need a lot of meat protein in order to get the benefits of it. You don't have to have a big slab of meat.
Right.
They say, well, My Plate, I think that was one of the national pushes, or one of the national education, was looking at the plate and seeing 2/3 of it with vegetables and non-meat, and then the smaller portion was the meat. So it's just a matter of finding what works for you, but the least processed foods as possible helps people actually lose weight. You know, they begin to lose weight because they're not getting all the chemicals.
Exactly.
There's a humorous story that goes around is we don't need to be preserved as much after death because we've got plenty of chemicals in us now. So I don't know if that's true. That would be interesting from the funeral director's perspective, is how much we really do. We are becoming plasticized and chemicalized. So anywhere you start with good nutrition will help that. And then of course the happy vices of tobacco and alcohol. Everything in moderation. I really believe that if you try to cut something out that you're punishing yourself to begin because you're feeling like you're taking it away. And I used to teach the tobacco cessation class many years ago, and what we talked about was feeling like you're giving yourself something by reducing your amount of whatever it is that you feel is harming you, whether it's smoking or alcohol. So you're giving yourself something by lightening up on that habit, and instead of taking it away, because humans, we don't want to have anything taken away. We feel that it's a loss.
Right.
But if you look at giving yourself better health or giving yourself a new way of thinking about yourself, then it's easier to make those changes. And I wanted to talk also a little bit about our mental well-being, because the stress of today's living is very intense. And with the media and the internet and everything, we don't know what's real anymore at times. And so it's good to pull back from that and also look at our relationships and letting go of the things that bind us. And that is easier said than done.
Absolutely.
It's starting little, starting tiny. I've been working on, I've been playing with, I like to say, I've been playing with this idea of letting go of old things that keep popping up in my head.
Oh, isn't that the way, though?
I'm just letting go of it. And in our 70s, you know, it's time to do that. And when we're in our 80s, it's never too late to start to do that.
Exactly.
So if you're a young person watching this, I say it's never too late. But even if you're a wizened person, a mature person of 70, 80, 90, you can still do these things. Think about your whole foods, think about your breathing, and start doing those simple tasks for yourself, giving yourself a gift and not taking something away. And that's how I see wellness and wholeness. It's a pursuit. It's like your job, but it's fun.
Exactly.
What new way can I do this?
Exactly. It's a journey.
Yes, it
not
is.
a destination.
Absolutely. Enjoying the journey and not judging ourselves and others too harshly. I think that's something that we humans have a natural tendency to do, is judge ourselves and others. And so releasing judgment. But the more I've found, the more in my own wellness pursuit of remaining in a calm state or in a healing state or in a joyful state or just peaceful state, then I tend to judge less.
Absolutely.
It's because you see that everyone else is on their journey. And it can be a challenge at times, especially those closest to us or those out in the world that are affecting our day-to-day life. Let's wait and see how it goes. Make your stand, but let's be positive about the outcomes. And getting a catastrophic thinking, I think, is something that our modern world gets us into as well. And that can be a simple goal. I'm going to let go of thinking that it's all going to heck in a handbasket. That I'm going to say, well, there are good things. Look at my family if you have a loved one that you care about, or look at my neighbors who care for me, or that I care for, or look at my garden, or look at my plants. You know, some people don't have the privilege of having a garden, but if they have one plant, that becomes a wonderful thing.
Oh, it absolutely
It really
is.
does.
Yes, it is.
So letting go is another big part of that. But I think the breathing, I feel and I have experienced that the breathing exercises have really helped me as far as being aware, holding it, and then just relaxing. And doing that, putting on a timer. It doesn't even have to be called meditation. Just doing breathing exercises for 5 minutes. it makes your whole day a wonderful thing.
I like to use breathing exercises when I'm at the dentist.
Oh yes, the dentist is can be a stressful place for a lot of people.
Absolutely. So I deliberately practice relaxation breathing when I'm at the dentist, and I think it helps a lot. I think it makes it less painful, and I will notice that I'm like, and then I'll start,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, just relax.
And then just I usually go to sleep.
Well, I have not gone to sleep at the dentist, but
And many dentists are now putting peaceful scenes on the ceiling, which is really
Yes.
nice too. And they have some soothing music. Sometimes it's not my cup of tea, but they do try to make a relaxing environment. And that's the other thing: creating a relaxing environment in your own home. You know,
Right.
one place where you like to sit.
one
Without
place
the
where
media
I can
on.
shut the door and the cats can't get at me.
Well, you're fortunate your cats want to be with you. Some
Yes.
cats, like mine, are feral. They just
Okay.
are out there.
Yeah, sometimes I just
Yeah.
leave me alone, please.
And they say that cats are trying to heal you, so you have to look at it like
Oh, there you go.
oh.
You're not really trying to chew my toe off.
No.
You're trying to heal me.
Yeah, well, they're studying cats now more. You know, I don't know where that research money's coming from, but they're fascinating creatures,
Yes,
as
they
are
are.
dogs too. I don't mean to eliminate dogs. I have friends that their dogs do not let them out of their sight. They do, you know, they're protecting them is what they feel. Or they might be a little anxious to be on their own, but I do see the dogs of my friends that do not leave their sight. They're watching over them. They're making sure that food bowl is going to be taken care of,
Yep.
but also that the person is okay, because that's
right.
their world.
That's true, and they're coming up with an awful lot of things. I read a story just recently where somebody was visiting an animal shelter. They were looking for an animal, and one of the dogs alerted them to the fact they were going to have a seizure.
Yes.
And the shelter had no idea the dog could do that, and the person had no idea, but what a wonderful thing.
Yes, and that is true. They're now the service dogs are trained to for low blood sugar. There's all kinds of things that dogs are being trained to be more intuitive about, and that's their natural inclination. The dogs that smell disease and things like that.
Right.
So having an animal in your life, even if it's not your own, I've known people who they go and visit their daughter, or their daughter comes to their house to see the creature. So you know, those have meaning too. Those are relationships too.
Oh, absolutely. So you had talked about some books that you wanted to recommend.
Yes, there is a book by Dr. Bruce Lipton, and he is a proton biologist, I believe, a cell biologist.
Okay.
And he has been doing studies over the years of how the cells respond to our stimulus.
Okay.
And he said he goes into great detail in the book about how our thoughts and our actions can affect the cell, and he does it on a laboratory basis. But when you think about the implications of that, I heard him speak once, and he had all the scientific data up and everything, and he said, just start talking to yourself. And there are programs called self-talk, but you can talk to yourself and say, I'm getting better. My knee, okay, it's bothering me, but that's my special knee, so I'm going to love it extra. We always say, that's my bad knee, you know?
Yep.
But on the wellness journey, you're transposing things to make them positive. So that self-talk that Bruce Lipton advocates, and it really it's made a difference for me. Since I read the book, I realized that what my attitude is, that attitude of gratitude or that acknowledgement of the good, that is a very powerful thing. So I highly recommend his book. And he's a very humble human being. He's not a flighty person
Right.
at all. And then there's also a book called Emotional EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's the tapping technique. There are basic books about that, but EFT is the short name for that. And that is a method in which the neurological system is affected by our actual tapping on certain points. And the books that describe it go into quite detail about where to tap and what to say to yourself, because they say that the body doesn't forget anything.
Right.
So when you do the tapping, so that anything on EFT or emotional freedom technique, there are many books out there about that. They have them for weight loss and for stress, but there's a basic one that tells the story about it.
Yeah, we have a local person. Well, she used to be in Jamestown, Donna, and she worked with that technique quite a bit.
Yes.
In fact, I think I did a video with her.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
been
it is.
100 years ago.
It's one of those very simple things, and so those books have helped me on my journey. I try to think of other things. Well, I read poetry, so I like any poetry book. It just helps me to maintain inspiration.
Sure.
But I say just start writing your own story. In fact, now they have an AI program that you can write your story. But I think just making a list of all the things you remember and saying, I'm letting go of this, I'm keeping this, to do your own book or your own list. I usually start with lists,
Right.
and then I fill it in.
Okay.
And that's the writers groups in this county are wonderful for that help too. So those are just two books as an example of how to reorient yourself toward physical wellness and creating a new environment in which the body can thrive and the whole being can thrive. Because we are more than the sum of our parts. I always like to say that. My patients, I'd say that to them. I'd say, you're more than this. We can fix what's going on with you, but you're more than the sum of your parts. I see your heart. I see your smile. I see your kindness. I see your pain. That's all of you. We are more than the sum of our parts. So healing whatever keeps popping up
Right.
is a good place to start.
And it is amazing because I am 70 years old and I could still all of a sudden be back in a horrible, embarrassing moment that I had when I was 8. I mean, that should be gone. You shouldn't have the ability to be right back in that emotional state, but I swear it can happen. I'll just, it's usually when I'm upset about something else so that I latch on to something that happened in the far past and I bring that back up to regurgitate it all, which is...
it triggers it. It triggers
Yeah.
it. And so in the wellness journey, you have that situation. I've experienced that myself. And you think, okay, that child, I love that child who was so embarrassed or who had that ill-fated experience. And that child is going to be okay. So you reframe how you view it.
Okay.
But I have to say, I was with family recently, and there are certain things that triggered the old me. I'm the youngest of 7. So they're all much older than I, and they still see me as the kid, even though I'm in my 70s.
It's okay to be a kid when you're 70,
yeah,
though,
that
right?
was
But
okay.
it's not.
But things would be
Right.
triggered. That old thing of my sister. I said, you can say whatever you want to me, sister, but the little girl is gone, and I love you anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
And I try to just teach myself to see that trigger and say, that child is okay. That child is doing all right, or talk to it themselves.
Right.
That's a great example, though. It does, our body, our mind does not forget anything. We can push it back, but reframing it helps it to be released. It won't, it perhaps could come back, but you keep reframing it. It's a practice.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
Well, I do have an email, and they could call. I would like it if they either call the station or email the station, and I could get that to them through there.
Okay, we can do that. I'll put the number up here and our email here. And
okay,
people
I'd like that, and then I have a little filter, and people will know where it's coming from.
That sounds wonderful.
All right.
Well, thank you for coming and seeing us today. This has been a fascinating conversation. I'm really glad I got to participate in with it.
Well, I'm so honored to be here, and we love PATV and CCTV. It's just a great asset to our community. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And thank you to our viewers. I hope you enjoyed the conversation today as much as I did. And please join us again next time.